Hi guys, and welcome to Little Wicket Railway. I'm Rob, and in this video I'm reviewing a 1980s train set. Earlier this year, my dad lent me some of his old models to have a play with, so I thought it'd be fun to go through them and do some retro reviews, starting with Hornby's Midnight Freight. He lent me a few, but the reason for starting with this one is because it contains a Class 58, and you may have recently seen in one of my other videos, I purchased a non-runner and repaired it. If you want to see the original wagons from the 80s set being pulled by my recently repaired model, then I've made a short 80s style video, so after this please go check that out and see whether you get the 80s references. Right, so back to the Midnight Freight set. This is Hornby reference R674, and Hornby made this between 1986 and 1991, then randomly again in 1994. So what did you get? Well, let's start with the Class 58. This is quite a large, weighty model, comes in the orange and grey rail freight livery, fairly reliable, and I've heard people moan that it's not very powerful, and it's true, it doesn't have the biggest motor in the world, but I don't think I entirely agree, because I've got some quite steep gradients on Little Wicket, and this didn't have any problem pulling a rake of wagons up those. I think people might be confusing power with speed, and it's true, it doesn't have a great top speed, especially when loaded up, but I don't think that's a big problem. You don't want it flying around your layout. It can actually do a fairly good slow crawl, which is probably more important than top speed when you're trying to collect wagons and uncouple. As with most older models, I thought the motor was quite noisy compared to newer models, but benefit of the doubt, this hasn't had a service yet, so it might sound quieter when I've cleaned it up. And to go with your Class 58, you got loads of wagons, 8 of them. You got the Red Arrow support van, the Texaco tanker wagon, the Esso tanker wagon, a hopper wagon, a flat wagon with a car, two mineral wagons, and a mighty white wagon. Some of the sets had different branding on the wagons, but you always got 8 of them, and that is a lot of train set. And for a lot of train set you need a lot of track, and that's exactly what Hornby gave you. You had one large oval and 2 sidings which could be connected up to form a passing loop. They also threw in a decoupling ramp, and one of the proper jobs, not one of the little clip-in ones. And 1980s Hornby didn't stop there. There was a buffer for your siding, a ramp to load your car onto the wagon, and they even throw in a goods shed with a loading gauge. That is a lot of train set. So how much did this all cost? Well, the 1987 Argos catalogue, which is where my dad's set comes from, listed this for £49.95. But what's that in today now money? Well, the internet reliably tells me that that would be just under £100 today, which makes this set an absolute bargain. There's no way you would get that much train set for less than £100 right now. In conclusion, when they invent time travel, the first thing you need to do is get yourself back to 1987, head down to Argos and spend 50 quid on one of these. It may not be top quality, but in terms of quantity and value for money, it's an absolute bargain, and it would have kept 1980s me entertained for days. In fact, I think it probably did. If you want to see more reviews of older train sets, then please give me a like and a subscribe. As I said at the start, if you want to see this in action 80s style, then head over and see my other video, and I will see you again soon.